So today we're going to speak to one of my top performing clients in recent years, Steffie. Steffie has absolutely crushed it, guys. She's lost an amazing 37 pounds, I think it is now. It might be even slightly more in the last 24 weeks on the Slim and Sustain program. And this is funny because I know she's here watching, right? But I cannot speak highly enough of her commitment, her transparency, because it's not always easy to be honest with your coach. And frankly, and I've certainly noticed this even in recent weeks, her ambition to totally transform herself. And you guys hear me rambling enough about how to get slim, fit, healthy in these videos. But I actually now want to get some advice from somebody who's actually crushing it right now. I lost weight years ago. This is from somebody who's walking the walk right now. And Steffie is kindly giving us her valuable time on a Saturday of all days to give her biggest tips and insights from her transformation so far. So that's enough talk from me. Steffie, thank you for being here. Can you start by telling us, number one, where you're from, number two, how old you are, and number three, what your favorite plant-based meal is right now?
Okay. So I'm from Delft, from the Netherlands, and I am 31. And my favorite plant-based meal at the moment, I think, is a lentil and spinach soup, which I haven't had in a while, but it's still, like, in terms of flavors, my
That's
favorite
one of
at
your
the moment.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've heard me, and you know yourself with your nutrition knowledge at this stage, but soup is just one of the best sort of meal templates for weight loss because you have all of this water volume.
Mm.
And so long as you get the adequate amount of calories in the soup overall for your needs, of course, it's just brilliant because you can fill yourself up on all of this soup and you eat so few calories because most soups, because of their water dilution, don't have that many calories. So we must get that back more into your routine then. We'll talk about that after, okay? If that's one of your favorites. Yeah, thank you. I think it's good. Usually I just dive straight in when I have these interviews with my clients. So I think even if it's just a couple of little things, it's good for people to get to know you just a little bit before we start. And I have a lot of people, someone messaged me on Instagram the other day saying, Ryan, why are all your clients American? And I said, they're not. They're not. It's 80% of my YouTube audience is in the US or Canada. And so that's where most of my clients are. But I have clients all over lots of parts of Europe. I've had a couple of clients from the Netherlands before, Germany, France. I often have a few, lots from the UK, Australia, New Zealand. So it's good to have someone on that isn't American, I suppose, even though that shouldn't really make a difference for perception. Sorry, anyway, I'm rambling again. 37 pounds, which is, I think, about 16, 17 kilos in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
How happy are you with that? You don't have to say, yes, Ryan, just because we are here. When I say that, do you think, oh, that's awesome? Or do you think, yeah, that's what I deserve? That's about fair?
I mean, I feel very proud of it. And also not a number that I was expecting when I started. But yeah, no, very happy.
Good. And I thought you would say that, but good. What do you think you were expecting? Because it's hard if you don't have such experience with consistency and seeing the scale drop for more than a couple of weeks. It's hard to know what is a realistic goal. So I think this will be interesting to people at home. What did you expect?
I think the first 12 weeks, initially I was expecting like 6-7 kilos. And then
we did 21 pounds, which is a little bit more than that. Yeah,
it's like 9.5 kilos, I think. So then I actually, I noticed towards the end of those 12 weeks that the like velocity of weight loss kind of dropped. So I did again set my hopes to about 7 kilos for the next 12 weeks,
which has been about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone watching, we have our final weigh-in of these second 12 weeks, so 24 weeks on my program in total tomorrow, don't we? So we are right at the end. This is somebody who's just finishing those 24 weeks, and you are going to stay on with me, and we are going to do a bit more just to get you over the line. But that's it's already remarkable. And when we think about it by this 1 to 2 pounds week ballpark, which everyone in the weight loss world is talking about, and I agree with, I think it's a very sensible, realistic target for people. You are in this category of 1 to 2 pounds per week. So check, tick, good job. But for some people, they might think, well, okay, you are in 1 to 2 pounds per week. Why is 37 pounds in 24 weeks? Why is that so special? It's special because it was consistent. It's special because you've been able to do what a lot of people cannot do, which is stay on track week after week after week. And we're going to talk about how you did that and the secrets to your success today. And hopefully people at home can take some lessons from this. So it's fair to say you lose a little bit more than what you were expecting?
In total, definitely, yes.
Do you think maybe then you were underestimating yourself, what you were capable of, or this nutrition approach? I think not this nutrition approach, but yourself.
Maybe.
Or it's that you just didn't know what was realistic.
I think that's
more that.
Yeah.
Do you think I believe, so I might be wrong, that's why I'm saying I believe. I believe that I've watched you become more ambitious, and I use that word to describe you in the introduction, and confident in your ability to lose weight and really take control of your health. I believe I've watched you become more ambitious in this process because you had maybe lost a little bit more weight than you expecting, and then it kind of think, well, what can I do next? What can I do now? Do you agree with that? Or has this ambition always been inside of you? And you just didn't say it to me.
I think somewhere it's always been there. But I think like my confidence definitely grew over the course of the last 24 weeks. So I guess it's come more to the forefront.
So it was there, but it's grown a little bit, and now maybe it's, when you say it's come to the forefront, maybe now it's really part of your thinking more, and you're really encouraging yourself a little bit more because you now have this track record of results.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this is an important point for people at home. There's a lot of people, because they cannot stay consistent for more than 2 or 3 weeks, or because they cannot lose more than 5 pounds without stopping, hitting plateau, or going back up the scale. They don't really believe in themselves. They don't really think that they can do this. How did you develop that? Because they need to at home. How do we, this is a really hard question to give you. I'm sorry, but I think you'll come up with a good answer. And it's okay if you're not sure on the spot, but how do people develop this ambition and this confidence when they always see themselves fail?
I think the confidence comes from making a promise to yourself and keeping it. And this program makes it really easy because there's a set plan. And you get, for example, for the workouts, you get goals every day. And just ticking those off one by one. Yeah, kind of, at least for me, really helped build my confidence. And even, especially with the number of steps that I had to walk in the beginning, I kind of made it a point to go outside and do them. And then I noticed that with the rest of my day, the amount of steps was at least double because in the beginning it was 3,000 steps, I think.
Yes, that's the first week is the target, yes, or second week, yeah.
So that already was a little confidence boost that I could do more than I had to do.
Yes. So I gave you target, and then you actually did more than the target, and that made you feel, presumably that made you feel quite happy and pleased with yourself.
Yes, very.
Yeah. And that, there is the results on the scale, but there is also the habits and the actions you are taking off the scale. And I think what you are saying, please correct me, because you did not say this, but I think what you're saying is there was lots of things you do off the scale, keeping the promises you make to yourself, sticking with those commitments that create this encouragement, ambition, confidence in you, and slowly made you, or maybe quickly made you believe, no, I really can do this, and this will work for me.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Good. I think that's a really thoughtful answer. So thank you. So if we go back 6 months, what did you, it's a different person, I think, but what did you struggle with before joining the program, before meeting me for the first time?
I think mainly overwhelm was a big thing, because I would not feel quite right in my body and I would want to do something about it, but I wouldn't really know where to start. And also, like throughout the years, I've tried a lot of different things, and then most things I tried weren't really good for the long run. Because with this program, I really feel like I've set a foundation, and I can just keep doing it forever.
See, you
And-
almost, maybe I'm analyzing you too much psychologically, but you kind of laughed as you said forever. You almost didn't want to say it, but that's a good feeling, right? To really feel like, hey, I found a way of eating here, a way of moving my body. And I think I can keep this going. I think this is permanent. Maybe I'm reading too much into, you make little laugh and your face change when you say forever there. Almost like you don't really believe it, but do you believe it? I'm sorry to call you out.
I do believe it. Yeah. I mean, I would have to make a couple of changes because I don't want to keep losing weight.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Forever.
But the general kind of philosophy behind how we are eating on this program, how we are thinking about exercise, the mindset stuff. And you don't have to say yes to this, but I think you already answered this. Is there a template here that you can actually imagine yourself following for the long term? That's the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good. And that's the whole, you hear me say this many times, but slim and sustain. It sounds like with the previous efforts to lose weight, there was some slimming, you were losing weight for a little while, but there is this question of sustainability, right?
Yeah.
So how did we make this sustainable for you? Because there's people at home, they love this idea of eating plant-based. Maybe they're already experimenting. Maybe they are already vegan for ethical reasons, but they want to eat more whole foods after they see videos online. But they still, even though they really resonate with this plant-based nutrition approach, they really still struggle with the consistency and the sustainability part. So compared to the previous things that you're doing in the past, where there is not so much consistency and sustainability, excuse me, what worked here? What did you or we, I don't want to take credit, but what did we as a team get right to allow you to be the most consistent I think you've ever been?
I think a big part is the meal plan and the simplicity that offers. I know, especially the first week, I had a lot of resistance against only having a couple of meals a week.
Yes.
And repeating those. But I found, like, I kept doing that even though I didn't have to, because I could switch it up more after the first week. But I've actually, like, every week sat down on Sunday, made a plan for the rest of the week with only like 2 or 3 different dinners.
Options.
And then for breakfast, even one option the last couple of weeks, because I've just been having oatmeal. And just simplifying it, and also just accepting it's not even accepting, like, I don't feel like I'm limiting myself anymore. It's easy.
But
and convenient.
And I understand you, but there was at the start, there was this, it doesn't mean you were, but there was this idea at the start of, oh, maybe this will be quite restricting. It's so simple. I challenge, for anyone at home, I challenge my clients in the first week, not for the full time with my program, but on the first week to just have 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 dinners for simplicity, which a lot of people love, but there's a lot of people, they're used to having a different meal every day, 21 different meals a week. And then it does seem maybe very restrictive. Is that how you felt at first a little bit? It's okay. I won't be offended. I understand it.
Yes. I think, well, part of it, because I think the first week that I started the program, I also fell ill. so my taste was a little bit off, which didn't really help with liking the meals. But I also, I don't know. I just had this feeling like I want to experiment with my food and like try new flavors and things. And I still sometimes do it, like take the same ingredients of a meal, but then make something different out of it. But I'm more relaxed about it, and also more just I know it gives me a lot of freedom to not have to think about it.
Yes, because you don't have to make the decision of what will I eat anymore, because bang, here's your meal plan. Yeah.
Saves a lot of time.
It saves a lot of time. It's not just time, but it's also energy. You know, people, they wake up every day and they're trying to think, what do I eat today that's healthy to lose weight? And then they look in their fridge, they think, I don't know, what have I got here? They're running out of ideas. Maybe they see some recipes online, but they don't know how much, you know, which ingredients will be good for them personally based on their goals. And I guess, not to put words in your mouth, I guess when we talked 5 minutes ago about overwhelm being one of the big obstacles for you before the program, I guess this is part of the reason why you are overwhelmed. You agreed for a long time, I think, with this plant-based approach, but knowing exactly how to do it, was that overwhelming? What do you mean by feeling overwhelmed, I suppose, is my question.
Well, yes, but also just the different schools of thought as well that are floating around. And like, I feel most like a natural pull towards plant-based eating. And that feels best to me when I'm doing it. But still, like if I find someone who's very like persuasive on another way of eating, then I will like start thinking like, am I doing things right, or has this person like found the solution? Or and then I'll just wobble and like actually probably try that out as well, because I usually just try stuff out and see if it works.
Yeah, and you know, it's not a terrible thing to be open and to try different things, but at some point you have to trust one process, right? Because otherwise you don't really do full experiment. If maybe I'm exaggerating for you, but if every week you are trying different diet methodology, different weight loss approach, can you really say that you definitely tested something to see if it works? I guess not. I don't know. Is that how it was for you, that every week or every couple of weeks you're trying something very different?
No.
Not that often?
No, I would do it for a couple of months, and then I would notice that it wasn't really working for me, and then I would go back to just my standard way of eating.
Right.
And I think just before I joined this program, I was at a point where I was trying to do intuitive eating, but not really succeeding.
Why do you think you were not, you maybe, I don't know if you hear my criticisms of intuitive eating, but why do you think you were not succeeding with that approach? Because it's something that's very attractive to people. I understand why. But why did it not work for you, do you think?
I think I had maybe, like I wasn't completely clueless about calories in food, but I definitely didn't have as much knowledge about calorie density. So I think I was just eating more of the higher calorific foods. And also I can eat quite a lot. So if I'm going off on my like fullness cues, that's not really helping me.
Not if you're eating lots of high calorie density foods. If you're eating salad, you should have no problem, right?
No, true.
Yeah. Okay. So overwhelm, what else did you struggle with before signing up with me? And it's quite a long 6 months. It's a good amount of time. So maybe it's hard to even imagine where you're at that time. But is there anything else?
One of the things I also struggled with, which the accountability, I guess, in this program has really helped me with, and also just being on the program, but social situations.
Sorry, can you explain that? That's
Yeah.
because I know what you mean, but people at home might be like, "What? Being on the program?" What? And I want to hear what you were going to say about social stuff because that's really important. So sorry to interrupt,
It's
but
okay.
psychologically, can you explain that? I know what you mean, but please explain.
Yeah. So I'm quite a people pleaser.
Mm,
So I like if I'm gonna eat at someone else's house, I wouldn't normally want to bother them with like the way I want to eat.
yes.
And I would just, well, for example, because I've been eating largely plant-based for a long time. But then when eating at someone else's house, I would just say like make it vegetarian. That's fine.
Because you didn't want to have the conversation, or you were nervous to say, or you didn't want to, that people pleasing part of your personality, you didn't want to bother them, or you didn't want tension. What was it particularly? Because people at home, they will resonate with this, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I guess I didn't want to be a bother.
Yes.
I
You
didn't
want to
want to
be a
make it more
nuisance.
difficult for them than it had
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
And also, I guess part of it is also that like you're eating a different way than most of the people in your surroundings. So it's also slightly uncomfortable being different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's easier just,
To go with the group, what the
yeah.
group is doing, and
Mm,
just stay quiet. Yeah.
mhm.
I appreciate your honesty. Why did, because your words were just being on the program helped. How? I understand you, but people at home, can you explain that? Because that's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could mention to people like, "Hey, I'm following a meal plan.
Yes.
Um, I would love to have dinner with you, but if we do that, could we make one of the meals from my meal plan?"
Did you really said this to
I
people?
actually said that to people.
What did
Actually,
they
like went
say?
to people's houses and cooked them dinner.
Yeah, that's amazing. You cooked it, of course, but yeah, that's brilliant. Did they
Yeah.
enjoy? Oh, sorry, we probably
Yes.
spoke about this, but I don't recall. I'm sorry.
No, they definitely enjoyed. I think
That's
one time I
hilarious.
made the stir fry.
Mhm,
And then the sauce was a bit dry. So then next
mhm,
time I added more liquid and it was fine.
mhm.
But they still like the flavor.
Okay, that's so that was small disaster then with the sauce. You will have to do the lentil soup, the lentil and spinach
Mm,
soup for your friends. That's
yes.
maybe they will fall in love with that like you did. Okay, good. So psychologically and also socially, you can say to yourself and to other people, "Hey, I'm on a program. I've got a coach now. You can blame me," which
Mm,
I always say. If I always say to, it sounds funny, but I always say to clients, you know, a good a good thing for social settings when somebody is challenging, "Oh, why are you eating something different?" or "Why do you have to be special?" You can just say, "Doctor's orders,
mm.
doctor's orders." People don't question this, but with me, you can say, "My coach told me to. I've got this coach, this horrible man from the UK, and he's always bullying me if I don't eat well. So you
I
can blame
actually
me."
didn't have to blame you though.
Fantastic. Well, that's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe for the sauce, then. Maybe for the
Mm.
tofu stir fry sauce, you can blame me. But I'm glad you fixed that. Okay, good. Um, what was the hardest part of the program? Because you're speaking very highly about, you know, you accountability in the program, and you talked
Mm.
about the value of simplicity in the meal plan. So thank you for your compliments. But what was, let's be honest with people, it's not always super easy, even though you've had an amazing transformation so far. It's not always super easy. What's been the biggest challenge, the hardest part of the program, do you think?
Um,
Nothing. It was all so easy, Ryan. You're the best coach in the world. Everybody go and sign up with Ryan at the link below.
um, oh, what was the hardest part? Um, well, I
Maybe we'll
think
start with, sorry, I'm sorry.
I haven't had many plateaus, but I have one moment where it seemed like it was going to get to a plateau.
Yes,
Um,
I remember.
and those are hard moments where you're like, I put so much effort into this. Like I've been really consistent this week and the scale's not
Mm,
showing it.
mm,
But then like the easy part of following the program is that I can actually talk to you and say like, I'm suspecting this is a plateau, and can we do something about it? Like, what's the game plan? So I don't really have to think about it myself.
Yeah, because with plateaus, if you've got, for me, I'm like, I've, over 400 times I do this now. My average client, you have been a great exception to this, which we are so pleased about, but my average client, they have 2 plateaus in every 12 weeks on my program. So plateaus, they're a normal part of this process. So for me, I speak about them so relaxed. I'm like, oh yeah, you're in a plateau. We just changed this, and you will start losing weight. And people look at me like, really? Is that simple? Or why are you so casual? Why are you so relaxed about it? But when I put myself into your head, I can see why it's so terrifying, because like you say, you work so hard this week. It comes to your weigh-ins Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my program. If you are not seeing a drop from the previous weekend, even though you've been so perfect, that can be a horrible feeling. So where did your mind go when you are doing this? Were you thinking, oh my goodness, I need to do something different here? Did you have some doubts? Did you stop trusting? I will not be offended. Did your mind think like it used to in the past? Oh, and now I need another approach.
No, I think because we caught it so quickly, and we actually had a plan, even though I think that the following week I was going on holiday, so couldn't really keep to the plan.
Bad timing, but yes.
Yeah.
But we didn't even need that plan in the end, did we?
I think I did do the plan for the next couple of weeks. But I'm not sure if it would have worked either way. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay, and it was not an easy question. I guess I was asking you, having or potentially going into a plateau, that's scary, that's tough. And I guess I'm just asking where your mind goes when this happens. Is there some doubt? Do you start questioning, can I still lose weight? Is there, because a lot of people, they hit plateau and they think, that's it, that's the end of my journey. And I think you understand there is more to this conversation about plateaus than, plateau means the end. I know you understand this, but for some people, this is how they are thinking. So
no, I actually I still really trusted the process. I was a bit scared about like taking some calories off, because I was feeling like satisfied with my meals, and I was wondering what that would do. But yeah, overall, I was just up for like trying whatever plan you came up with.
Yeah, thank you for your trust. And I think people are always surprised when they receive the updated meal plan back from me after they have plateau. They're always surprised that, yes, I reduced the calories, but it's only a couple of things. And they're like, whoa, this is because it doesn't take, this is a tip for people at home, it really doesn't take a lot to get you out of a plateau. I mean, it depends on where you're at right now, but for some of you, it will be as little as 75 calories, maybe even less per day off your daily diet to get you through a plateau. And that's only with nutrition change. Of course, you can get through plateau with exercise change. Even something like extra 2,000 steps per day, which to some people is nothing, to some people is quite a lot, I appreciate. But even extra 2,000 steps per day, even if your nutrition doesn't change, that can be enough to get you through plateau. And it's not a huge tweak. You don't need to start going to the gym 5 times a week or doing intermittent fasting or, oh, now I must do a juice cleanse because I've stopped losing weight. No, this is all too radical, too extreme. We just make little change. Anyway, sorry to go on, but this is a good tip, I think, for people at home. Do you agree?
You don't definitely.
Have to.
No, I did.
Biggest, I think I know what you might say here, but biggest breakthrough for you off the scale, what's happened for you on the scale has been fantastic, but off the scale, what was the behavior that you are most happy with, or the result? Maybe it's not to do with weight loss, but a result that you experienced that you are most happy with.
Hmm. I think for the first 12 weeks, it was mostly just like building up a foundation of healthy habits.
Yes.
And then, I mean, still continue doing that these last couple of weeks. But
You have, but it's been kind of automatic now, I guess, for
yes,
you.
yeah, it gets a lot easier. But biggest change.
Sorry, I ask you really difficult questions, but I think it's meaningful for people at home. But yeah, the biggest breakthrough, the thing not to do with the scales, but when you look back, you're most proud of, oh, I really overcame this bad habit, or this bad mindset, or this limiting belief I destroyed, or this excuse I always used to make. I don't make this excuse anymore. What is there anything that jumps out?
Well, a big part is what we just discussed with social situations, where I just think of myself first now. And I see how I can like tailor the situation to what I need or want.
How selfish of you.
Yes. I mean, I still try
That's
to
what
take other people into account. But
people who are people pleasers, or they have this kind of servitude that they want to do everything when they are in the company of others, it's all about what the other people need. It's a very honorable trait, but you do put your own priorities and your own needs to the bottom. So, I joke about the selfish thing, but to you, does it feel strange to do that? Do you feel almost a little bit guilty when you say, hey, do you mind if, okay, maybe we don't go to this restaurant, but can we go to this restaurant where there is healthier option for me? Or can I come to your house and make you Ryan's tofu stir fry with the not so nice sauce that I didn't enjoy? Do you feel a little bit bad about this, or now it's natural for you?
It used to feel uncomfortable at the start, but now I've had some practice in, so it gets better.
And can we just, I think that's the theme for us, because you mentioned this also a couple of minutes ago. Everything gets easier the more consistent you are. This has been theory or mantra I've been saying on my YouTube, on Instagram for years and years and years. Can you just speak about this for a minute? Can you just tell people at home, because this is so important, tell the people at home that think that weight loss is really hard, think that being consistent is really hard. And they are right, but they are only right because they start, and they never build the habits. Can you just tell people at home how much easier it does get?
Well, I mean, I can't just say it gets easier, but yeah, like if I had to give like a specific example, for example, for the meal plan, like at first it's quite a lot of effort to like write it down and like think of all the meals, but now like I mostly have same kind of breakfast, maybe one or two lunch options that are always the same. So I actually only write down my dinner options that I want for the week, and then I make my grocery list, and it's so much quicker because I know like the staples that I have to get always, and then there's just a couple of things that I have to add.
It's now clearly in your head, so you can walk into that store and go bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And that's a good example of how it gets easier. Yes. Thank you. That was a difficult question. And I put you on the spot for motivational speech, but I think it's so important for people at home to understand that even though this process, changing the bad habits, getting over the cravings, we didn't even talk about cravings today, but junk food, things like this, or social settings, even though these feel challenging and awkward at first, it's amazing how I'm not saying anything profound here, but just through consistency, it becomes so much easier to stay on track. Yeah. And of course, when you are seeing the scale drop, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I guess it's all worth it, right? If the
Yeah,
scale is not moving and you're being really consistent, then maybe it's not easy to be consistent. But when you actually get the results, you're so fired up, you're so motivated. No, did you feel that way?
definitely. And not just the skill drop, also just clothes fitting better
Mm,
and like feeling more confident in my own skin.
mm.
Just yeah, feeling really good.
Feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect answer. Like, and it's, I think this is something we should all experience. No, I think
Mm,
you are not entitled to this, but why would you not want to feel the best you can feel? To me, it's just so obvious.
mm,
And I suppose the answer is, well, people have bad habits. Everyone agrees with me. Everyone wants to feel good and they want to look their best and feel their most attractive and confident, even if there is some vanity. Let's be honest, we are human. We care about how we look, but also how we feel. But the bad habits stop us. And you've been able to overcome lots of those. So well done. Um, Here's the big question for us. Have you turned the corner? Is there, and of course, I don't expect you, even as much confidence as you've gained, I don't
mm.
expect you to be 100% confident. But is there any way that after this program, after we finish, you go back up the scale? That you go back to your habits of the past?
Um, I don't think so.
Mm,
I think like the foundation that I got from following this program for the last 24 weeks, um, it's something that I can always fall back on. So even if I might drop the ball in the future,
mm,
I think also with like uh, just weighing myself, I think I will keep doing that just to keep track.
mm,
And I probably won't let it get so far as that it moves up a lot. Like it,
mhm.
I mean, it might fluctuate, and that is normal, I guess.
Of course.
But
But if you see it go up a couple of kilos, that's when you can start thinking, oh, okay, I must be
yeah,
careful here. Yeah.
yeah,
So I know this is really silly, basic question, but
mm,
from 1 to 10 on our scale here, how confident do you feel right now? And I know we are doing an interview. I know you want to speak highly about your experience in the program because you have good experience, and I thank you. But honestly, 1 to 10, how confident are you that we did this, that we did slim and sustain, that this is it now, that you don't go back up the scale? Of course, I do not expect 10, but maybe close.
um, yeah. I think it's at a 9 right now. I feel
Not bad.
pretty confident.
Yeah, not bad. Maybe not bad is understatement.
Uh,
So you
yeah.
feel, do you feel this is it then? You feel this was you try for many years, I think, to lose
Mm.
weight, if I remember your story. Do you feel like this is the first thing you've done that really, this is substantial now? I'm more consistent with this. It gets me better results and I feel good than anything you've ever tried?
Yeah,
Good,
definitely. Mhm.
good to hear. You know, Earlier on, I asked you this question about what was your biggest breakthrough, and I don't know if you remember, but I said I thought I would predict what you will say,
Yeah.
and you didn't actually say it. I thought maybe you would say something about the exercise, but particularly the running is what I thought you would
Oh,
say
yeah.
because, and I just realised we go 35-minute conversation here
Mhm.
where we pretty much only talk about food. So can we very quickly just talk about the exercise, particularly the running? Where are you at now with, the running and the exercise? How do you feel about it?
Um, well, I can start at the start. I was a bit apprehensive starting the running because it's not my
Mm,
favorite form of exercise. Um, but just like starting small with a couple of intervals, I've noticed that it really builds up quickly. And I'm now running 24 minutes without breaks.
yeah,
And I never
in no
expected that.
intervals. Yeah. And when you say it builds up quickly, do you mean the program or do you mean your fitness ability? Or both?
um, mostly my fitness ability, I think.
Yeah. So it progressed faster than you were expecting, which is really
Yes.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think I've seen the most growth with the running, even though I also notice it in the other parts of the of exercise. But
That's the
running
place
has
where
surprised me the most.
it surprised you the most. Yeah. And how do you feel about it now? Nobody really loves running. Okay. It's kind of boring and it kind of hurts, right?
Mm,
But how do you feel about it now? That apprehensiveness that you used to have,
mm.
has that gone?
Um, yes, because I know that I do find it enjoyable if I'm doing
Yes.
it. It's just sometimes starting up that I'm like, do I want to
Ouch.
do this today?
Yeah. Of course not, yeah. And I guess for a lot of people that happens with all exercise. But for example, when we are done here in about an hour and a half, I will be playing tennis. And that's really fun because I'm playing with people I know, some of my friends. It's big group, it's not so serious. So I don't need huge motivation to do it.
Mm,
But or when I do my martial arts, I see lots of my friends there. It's fun, it's good camaraderie, good environment. Running it, you're just on your own. It's boring. It's hard. You get really hot even when it's cold.
yeah.
It's horrible for people. I understand. Yeah. So, okay, good. Good. I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with it. And I'm glad it surprised you. And I'm glad we pushed you. And for anyone at home who maybe is thinking of joining the program, and you just hear what we're talking about with, oh, there's running in the program, please don't be too worried because number one, we only start in month 3. So it's not as though when you come onto the program, you have to run straight away. We slowly build up. And like Steffi said, we actually start with, I think, very gentle intervals. So I don't just send you out and say, hey, today you're going for a 24-minute run like you're
Mm,
doing now. We start with, you might do 2 minutes of walking, 30 seconds of running, I think is the first interval now on the program. I just changed it recently. And this is a very manageable way to start building your fitness. And it sounds maybe condescending, but baby steps, right?
yes.
And that's what worked for you. And actually, it built your fitness, like you're saying, faster than you thought, right?
Yes.
Is there any more? I think we've covered a lot. I think this will be useful for people. So thank you. Is there any more tips and advice that we haven't covered that you think could be helpful to anyone watching? I think it's been a good conversation, but is there anything else we would say to the people at home? Any other tips we can think of that have been helpful to you?
Mm, well, if we're talking about small steps, I mean, the program itself consists of small steps, but then even, for example, if you have a step target,
Hmm.
just
For the
getting
walk.
outside for like 10 to 30 minutes will already get you pretty close.
Hmm.
And then, so I guess like even just cutting up the goals into even smaller goals
Yeah, that's a good point.
could really
Throughout the
help.
day,
Yes.
because I think a lot of people, especially with the exercise, whether it's the step counts that I give you guys for walking, or the run, or the home workouts that we do as the program goes on, I think a lot of people, they maybe would make the mistake of leaving them. I don't let my clients do this, but leaving it right to the end of the day
Mm,
when they are tired and worn out and they don't have so much time and they just want to go to bed. And I think what you're saying is you can break your exercise down so
mm,
that as the day goes on, it's slowly building up to your target. I think it's
yeah.
good advice. Yeah. Anything else to do with the food? I think just to summarize your key tips for the people watching at home, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just to summarize, simplicity.
Mm,
Maybe you don't need as much variety as you think you do, I think is another lesson from you. You did not say
yes.
these words, but that's what I'm picking up.
Mhm.
What else? What other nutrition tips and hacks have been useful to you? Again, I know these are difficult questions. I just put you on the spot, but what have been some meals or some snacks or just some ways of thinking about food that have
Mm.
worked, have helped you lose 37 pounds?
For me, like also just doubling some of the meals and eating that a couple of times. So then some days I might have less time for cooking or won't feel like cooking, and then I
Yes.
still have a meal in the fridge, and I can just very simply in like 10 minutes get myself some food. So
So batch cooking, yeah,
that's been
save
really
time.
helpful. Also with the hummus, I just make it like I make twice the amount, and then I eat that the entire week almost.
Yes, and it's still good by day 6 or 7.
It is
It's
still good,
okay.
yes.
Okay, that surprises me. So I think in the recipe I say like maybe 3, 4, 5 days. So you are pushing it a little bit, but good. I'm glad it still tastes okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Do you have? Is there anything you would say to somebody watching at home who they listen to this and they think, yes, I think Ryan's program is good for me, or maybe they are more on the fence and they cannot decide. They like the sound of some things. They're worried about making the commitment and the investment, and they have a little bit of doubt about themselves, or to be honest, maybe about me because I'm just a stranger from the internet. I'm not pressuring you for a certain answer. You can make me sound fantastic if you want, but I'm not pressuring you for a certain answer. But is there anything you would say to the person? It's very normal to have some doubt or some resistance. Is there anything you would say to them?
Well, I mean, you can do a lot of it yourself. Like if you want to put the effort in making a plan and like finding an accountability partner. But this program really has all of that in it, and it's just very easy. You can just stop thinking and just follow the plan, basically.
You make it sound like I just boss you around, tell you what to do, but it's kind of true, to be honest.
And besides that, I just want to mention that you are also very good at just listening to people's concerns, or at least my concerns, and like making sure I felt very heard throughout the entire program. And you're very good at just giving advice and changing things up if needed. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for the kind compliments. Of course, you cannot speak for anyone else, but yeah, I hope so. Yes, I hope I do all of the things you just said. Yes, I hope I am a good listener, because I can do lots of this myself as well. So it's nice to hear that I can, when I need to be a good listener as a coach. Thank you. Good. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thanks everyone at home for tuning in. If anyone does want results similar to Steffie's, I'll put the link down below to my program, but how often do I plug this? You know, it's veganslimandsustain.com. So just go to veganslimandsustain.com. Once again, the link below. You can learn a little bit more about my coaching program there. You can read all of the other success stories there. It's not just Steffie, but I've now had over 400 clients through that program. And over 60% of my clients lose 20 pounds, at least, I should say. Some people 25, 30 pounds, but at least 20 pounds, as Steffie did in their first 12 weeks with me. Yours was 21, right? So just over that benchmark, but 60% of my clients, which is that's a ratio I'm really proud of. So if you want similar results and you need a plan, structure, my favorite word, we didn't even use this today, but you want structure, some support, some accountability, like Steffie's had, to reach your ideal healthy body weight, eating simple plant-based meals, no calorie counting. We do some exercise, but it's nothing crazy. I don't ask Steffie to be in the gym 5 times a week, spinning classes, running marathons, nothing like that. It's pretty straightforward. If that all sounds good to you, the link will be down below for that. Steffie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.